Okay, I want to touch a little bit on a question that I get very often. And the question is usually some form of, when do I stop feeding? When do we get rid of the food? Do I have to feed forever? And so kind of my short answer is like, we don't plan on getting rid of food, period. But we do plan on feeding less frequently and going through less food in a training session than maybe we are like right now in the very beginning phases. So I understand why people are a little concerned about having to always have food on them. They like don't want to be a vending machine. They don't want to be like stuck if they go out to the barn and forgot to bring something with them. You don't want to have this reliance on the food. I totally understand that. But at the same time, a lot of us are super comfortable needing our spurs, our whip, our crop, our bridle, the bit, what have you, in order to get the thing done. So the food and our little target and stuff like that is going to sort of take the place of some of those other aversive tools. And so just knowing that if you're comfortable using certain tools already, like, we should be comfortable using our new tools also, and not just trying to like strip them away from the very beginning, especially knowing that these new tools are something the horse really loves and it's going to build all these positive associations. So we don't plan to just get rid of the food, and especially not within the context of what we're learning in this like beginning class. But long term, we are going to use less of it. And so the ways that we're going to transition to relying a little bit less on our food are things we've already talked about in this class: chaining, building duration, and classical conditioning. So chaining, originally we were feeding for every single behavior, and now maybe we have a chain of 5 to 10 behaviors and we're feeding at the end. So rather than we're going around a jump course, you're feeding after every jump. It's not real practical for like showing perhaps. So we were going to build a chain of the whole jump course, and you're going to feed at the end after you've left the arena. That would be a practical chain and something you could absolutely build. So that's kind of where it's headed, right? And that makes it feel a little bit more like normal riding, where we're not stopping all the time. And groundwork too, people, a little bit of a hesitation sometimes with all the stopping and starting in the beginning and how often we're stopping to feed. So know that our intention is to start building chains and also building duration on our behaviors, so we're not feeding so constantly, but the horse is still like, we're able to do the stuff. So we're building up to that, again, through shaping and through the chaining. And then the classical conditioning piece is there too, where our repeated positive associations with the stuff that we're training. Remember, operant conditioning is doing the trained behavior for a consequence, like action creates consequence, versus the classical conditioning is just this pairing that's kind of brewing under the surface, that's just building this positive association. Maybe we don't even like consciously know why we like the thing, but it's just always been a good thing, so we just like it. That's kind of where the classical conditioning is coming in, and it's building all the time. So eventually a behavior can become so classically conditioned that it is reinforcing like in and of itself. It has such a long-standing history that now you could even use that behavior to reinforce something else. Rather than feeding that behavior, you just do the classically conditioned thing. The target is one that quickly becomes classically conditioned in a lot of cases. And so like an example that I use it for a lot would be, say the horse is spooking, something terrifying is happening over here. I can then use that target to like bring them back down to earth, because it's such a positive thing for them. It's something they love so much. We can kind of recondition scary thing by touching the target. But in that context, I would still feed touching the target, because that's kind of like a big thing. But to recondition, right? Like a spooky thing. So that's kind of where we're headed, right? We're building all of this positive stuff. We are building duration and chaining things. We're gonna go from feeding maybe a full treat pouch worth of stuff within a 10 or 15 minute training session, which I often do in the very beginning. And we're gonna move towards like maybe that same pouch lasts me an hour or like a full ride with the horse or what have you. So that's kind of where we're headed, but we're not headed there yet. We're not headed there like in this class. Like that's long-term planning, and it takes a little while to get there. It's a little bit nuanced to build on that. So it's a skill that we'll work towards, and it's something that I will keep talking about in like future stuff. So I wanted to kind of just build it in here to let you guys know, especially maybe you more skeptical guys know that that is something that we care about, it is something we're working towards, and it does allow you to do like normal stuff with your horses while training in a positive reinforcement context. You can have a very like traditional looking horse and horsemanship skills and all the stuff while not relying on aversive training methods. So it's very possible. So that's kind of, that's my little soapbox there about where we're headed, and hopefully that's getting some wheels turning for some of you and alleviating some of your concerns maybe with pursuing this more as like a all-in kind of a training method. So that's that.